Hi, I'm Steve Hickoff, Realtree turkey hunting editor and blogger, here to talk to you today about how to use a slate call, as well as pot and peg calls. This is a pot and peg call, and essentially these kinds of calls vary by style, but they have the same basic design. One component is the striking surface, which is attached to a hollow pot, often with drilled holes underneath, to create a sound resonance with the inner chamber. And you have a peg, also called a striker. It forms this two-piece handheld turkey caller. Now, striking surface materials often include the slate, like this one, as well as glass and aluminum. Pegs are made of wood, carbon, plastic, glass, and even turkey wing bone. Now, to dress or rough up your slate surface, you want to use a piece of Scotch-Brite scour pad, and you rub it like this, just to rough it up so that your striker tip can bite into the surface. For calls with glass or aluminum surfaces, you want to use fine grit sandpaper. Now you want to hold the pot, striking surface up, with your thumb in the 9 o'clock position and your middle finger in the 3 o'clock position. I like to use my index finger too to hold the edge of that, just to give it a nice tight grip. What you don't want to do is cover up the back side of your pot, because you've got those holes there and you want to create that sound inside the chamber. So hold it like this, grip your peg or striker like a pencil or pen, thumb in the striker's center. You can make a variety of turkey sounds by varying the stroke pattern. All vocalizations require keeping the peg right on the surface. You don't want to lift it off the surface at all. Okay, to cluck, you want to put the peg's tip on the striking surface. Again, we're going to condition the slate, and then you want to put it right on the striking surface. Essentially, you want to angle it slightly inward with pressure and pull it towards you. You want to cluck softly with less pressure and louder and deeper with more. Now, when you do cluck, usually the common thinking is that there's 2 seconds between each cluck. A cluck is essentially a searching call. When a turkey's coming into the woods, maybe having heard your calling, it's basically saying, "Where are you? I am here." So it's basically asking, "Where are you? Identify yourself." So you want to cluck softly with less pressure, louder and deeper with more. To yelp, and this is probably the bread and butter call for most turkey hunters in the spring woods, you want to draw small ovals on the pot surface. As with clucking, less pressure makes softer yelps. And then if you put more pressure on it, you're gonna make it louder and more resonant. So softer, louder. Now to purr, a purr is basically a two-component call. Turkeys, when they're in flocks and they're feeding, they purr to keep distance so that they can cover a food source with an equitable amount of distance between each bird. And it's a call just to basically keep distance. There could be a contented feeling to it, sound to it, but also there's a fighting purr involved, often when gobblers square up for the first time, or maybe not for the first time, they're just contesting pecking order. Essentially, a purr involves drawing a slow line across the surface, again, never removing the tip of your striker, as if turkeys were walking or feeding, or in the case of fighting purrs, you want to make it agitated. So the contented purr is basically something like this. Or a fighting purr might be like this. You can hear a little bit of yelping in there. Basically, when you hear it, you'll know what's going on. You'll hear wings thrashing, some popping. They're likely two gobblers trying to spur each other. So that's the soft purring, and then you can hear the fighting aspect there. For cutting, which is basically just fast clucking, you want to keep the peg's tip on the surface as with the other calls, and you want to stroke it as if clucking, but repeat this rapidly multiple times. And often we'll throw some yelps in there too when we're cutting. Now, learning to use your slate call and becoming familiar with it is going to allow you to kill more birds in the woods. It takes time. Listening to the birds that you hunt will probably teach you the most of all. You want to imitate the vocalizations you hear. You want to match your sounds to those made by real wild turkeys. It takes practice, both before, during, and after the season. But really, when you have finally fooled a bird into thinking that you're a real turkey, and it's come in, and you've got it in range, and you've closed the deal, there's no greater feeling in the world. So good luck this season, and stay tuned for other tips here on the Realtree Turkey site. Thanks.